Welcome to part 5, Finance Team Building and Scalable Systems. Now, we're on a roll over here, are we not? So we're on the final stretch. Let's see what we have done so far. You have mastered forecasting, retention, reporting, investor relations. Now let's talk about the challenges that determine whether you can scale. Building your team and building systems that don't break. So we're going to talk about challenge 9, hiring the wrong finance talent. Here's what happens. Let's say you're drowning in work, you need help, so you hire someone. They have a good resume, they worked at a big company, you bring them in. 3 months later, you realize they can't do the job. They're used to 30 people on the finance team. They are very specialized. They have established processes, but you need someone who can do everything. They need to be able to do financial planning, accounting, operations, system analytics. They can't. Oh no, you're stuck. So what do? Stop hiring from big companies unless they have proven that they can operate in chaos. You don't need someone who has managed large teams. You need someone who has built teams from scratch. Now I'm assuming I'm talking to startup CFOs here. Look for finance people from startups that scale from 10 million to 50 million or more. They have lived your pain. They know how to build these processes later. They know how to operate with limited resources. They are quick, they are flexible, they are adaptive. Interview for that versatility. Ask them, tell me about a time you had to do something outside your expertise. How did you figure it out? You want people who say, I'll figure it out, not, that's not my role. And here's the key. Hire for trajectory, not current state. You need someone who can grow with the company. Hire a level up. Someone who's a senior financial analyst today, but could be a controller in 2 years or a VP of finance in 4 years. I work with a CFO who hired someone from a 15-person startup that had scaled to 150 people. This person had done FP&A, he had done accounting, operations, systems implementation, the whole 9 yards. So when they were brought in, they hit the ground running. And within 6 months, they had automated half the manual processes and they were running quarterly forecasting cadences. So that's what you need. You need builders, you don't need managers. And the final challenge, challenge 10, operating on broken systems. Now let's talk about systems. You're running the business on QuickBooks and you're running it on Google Sheets, Excel. And every month-end close is taking 2 weeks and every board deck requires pulling data from 5 different places. You're spending 80% of your time on manual work and 20% time on strategy. This doesn't scale. At 10 million ARR, you can barely survive on spreadsheets. At 30 million, it's a headache, it's very painful. At 50 million, it's nearly impossible. So what do? Here's what you do. You invest in systems before you need them. Your accounting system, your financial planning tool, your data warehouse, your business intelligence platform. You start with accounting. If you're on QuickBooks, move to NetSuite or Sage. And when you hit 10 million, and especially when you hit 10 million, $15 million ARR, it's a bit more expensive, yes, but it's a pain, and it's a pain to implement, but it'll save you hundreds of hours per quarter later on. The payback is pretty quick. Next, implement financial planning software like Cube, Adaptive, Planful, Mosaic. Something that integrates with your accounting system and your CRM. Automated data flows, scenario modeling, real-time dashboards. These are part of the features in these big systems. Third, build a data warehouse, whether you're using Snowflake or BigQuery, connect all your systems, accounting, CRM, billing, product analytics, marketing automation, everything. Everything is going to flow into one place is the philosophy that you go by. Now put a BI layer on top. It could be Tableau, Looker, Power BI. It's a visualization tool as well. Build your dashboards once and they update automatically. You don't need to do all these manual data pulls. A CFO who made this investments at 20 million AR is actually doing quite well. It cost him $300,000 in software and implementation. It was a very painful moment as far as I can tell. But here's what happened a few months hence. The month-end close went from 12 days to 3 days. Board prep went from 20 hours, 28 hours, down to like 3 hours, literally 3 hours. Financial planning cycles went from 5 weeks to 2 weeks. The finance team could finally do strategic work instead of data entry. And then 2 years later, the company was sold at 60 million ARR. Same finance team, 5 people only supporting a business that tripled. Only possible because of systems. When they sold the company, the buyers saw clean systems, they saw automated processes, they saw real-time reporting, they saw premium valuation, and the systems investment that was made, that 300K, it paid for itself 100 times over. Here's what most CFOs get wrong. They wait until they're in so much pain that they delay the investment in systems, and by then you're already underwater, you're in crisis mode. Implementation is a lot harder because you're doing it under pressure. So invest well before you need it. Your future self will thank you. So here's what you need to remember. 1, hire finance talent from startups that scaled from 10 to 50 to $100 million, and they understand how to build from scratch, not just manage established processes. That's 1. 2, interview for versatility, adaptability. Look at their trajectory. Don't go for specialized expertise. You need people who will say, I can figure it out and can grow into bigger roles. 3, invest in systems at 10 to 20 million ARR before the pain becomes unbearable. Look at, that would mean looking at the accounting platform, utilizing an FP&A tool, implementing a data warehouse, and then layering it on top with a BI layer. All of these would pay for themselves many times over. And then bring it all together. I'm going to summarize all of this in the next script, all the 10 challenges, and give you a clear action plan. You will know exactly what to tackle first and how to prioritize. So, see you for the final episode of this series. Take care. Bye-bye.